Okay, welcome back to the continuing saga of the hidden track into staging. So what I did was I was away for the week down in beautiful Philadelphia, PA, and this all set up all week long. I had it glued up before I left. It's been sitting there for 5 days. I added some more glue to the ballast. That's been sitting. I repainted the front area. That's all been sitting. So now we're ready to get to work. So this is not the final form. It's kind of a rough form, but what I'm thinking of doing is maybe adding, some rock in here, maybe another one. I'm not sure. Maybe throw something in there. I don't know yet. We'll see how things go. And then along in here, it just kind of looked to me like it would look good there with a bit of a retaining wall. And I didn't have any, so I ordered some before I left, and it showed up. So what I'm going to try here, not sure which one yet. I bought these from Chooch. This is their flexible stone walls. I wanted something thinner to get in there. I've used knock products in the past, and they're good. But this is at a slight bend here, so I wanted something I could bend. And the knock ones, at least I haven't successfully done that too much without breaking them. So this is the small cut stone wall. HO number 8260, HON they call it, HO/N. And this is the medium, same type. They make random, and they make all kinds of different types. These are the two that, to me, looked the most interesting. And I did try to find out on the website and search the internet what size the stones were. They don't tell you that anywhere. I wish manufacturers would give you that information. So, as a public service message to all my wonderful subscribers, if you're curious and you're thinking about the product and what the manufacturers won't tell you, on their small cut stone wall, which they label as HO/N scale, most of these stones are about 1 foot high by 2 foot long, roughly. There's some different sizes. I don't know how well it's going to show up because I saw it in the wrapper. Some of the ones here at the bottom are a little bit bigger. But overall, roughly, they're 1 foot by 2 feet. And some are smaller. You probably won't be able to see it, but there's some smaller ones in there. So, but overall, 1 foot by 2 foot for the small. The medium, definitely bigger. And these, again, they start off at some different sizes. Actually, pretty nice looking stone wall. Most of these, not all, but most of these are about 18 inches high by 3 or 4 foot long, so they're definitely larger. Now there's some variety to it. I found one there that's 5 foot long, but overall, roughly for the medium cut stone wall, you're looking at stones that are about 18 inches high. They all seem pretty much like that, except for some 1 foot ones here at the bottom. 18 by either 3, 4, or 5 feet. Mostly 3 and 4. You can see one right here is a big one. That's a 5 foot one right there. All right, so that's that. That's your public service message, and so now you know the sizes. So now what I need to think out, okay, which one do I want to put in there? It's not going to be as high. It's only going to be about in here. You just smooth that out to accept it. So hopefully it will adhere to that. Then I'll put some plaster around it. So, all right. So we're going to keep working here. Now on the back side, again, since you're not really going to be able to see it, I'm holding the camera over where no normal human being would ever get. I'm not going to worry too much about back here. Once I get it all formed, I might just put some of the ground foam on it, some of the other foliage and then trees, and not even worry about trying to do rocks back there, because you're just not going to see it. I know some folks have recommended that I put a portal there, but I don't think I'm going to. Just because I think once I get trees in here, you're really not going to see that. Trust me. I'm not too worried about it. I'm certainly not too worried about how it looks if I run a camera car. That's fine. I understand the concept, but that's just not my biggest concern. So I will probably do the minimal amount back here, because if you can't see it, I'm not going to worry about it. I got more stuff to do and a lot of work to get done. I'm not going to anguish over things that really can't be seen. Alright, so that's where we are now. Going to do some forming, figure out what I'm going to do with the rocks, figure out which of these two retaining walls and if I want to actually put it in there or not. I think I do, but alright, let's get playing around here and see what we come up with. Okay, here we are. Got things kind of set the way I want before I put them in with the plaster. So you see I got some rocks I'm going to put in there, and then some smaller ones. This retaining wall is that chooch wall. I did paint it, or actually kind of washed it with some acrylic washes. I didn't use the instructions. I tried it the way they recommended. Didn't like the way it looked. So I went with some of the Vallejo acrylic washes. And maybe what I'll do is throw a picture up before and after just to see what it looks like. I think it looks better this way than the way it came raw from the package. But maybe I'll get a picture of that and see. And I still want to go back and dry brush this, so when it's finished I'll do a comparison. And then I added, just over here, just for some variety, I added a few rocks, you know, on this slope kind of to help kind of blend it in with the rockier area over here. So now everything's been shaped. It's good enough. I mean, you could spend years doing this. I'm just like, okay, that's roughly how I want it. It's good enough. Because once you get the scenery on it, you're not really going to notice it. Okay, so I still need to let this dry a wee bit, and then get a dry brush, get it installed, and then, which is really just peeling the backing off, and hopefully it sticks to the foam. But then there's going to be plaster around it, so I think it's going to hold it in. And then get out the, sculpt the mold and get things installed. So, alright, let's keep moving along here. Okay, I'm sure really all you guys can see is a big sea of white. But we got the castings in and the retaining wall in. And this time, like I said, I used the sculpt mold, and it looks a lot better. Although, which means it probably won't wind up as well as the other one did, because I thought I hated it at this point. And now I actually like this at this point, so it'll be the opposite. Now, one thing I kind of messed up on. The chooch retaining wall, when I went to peel the backing, the adhesive didn't stick very well to the actual resin material here, or the flexible material there. It kept peeling off. I was like, what the heck? This is really annoying me. So I said, all right, fine. I'll put some extra adhesive on the back. And I knew I was going to put, you know, the sculpt mold around it, so I wasn't really concerned that it was going to actually move once everything's set up. But what I did was, not even thinking, I just grabbed a can of spray adhesive, like the heavy-duty 3M stuff. And right as soon as I did, I was like, I should not have done that. Sure enough, it starts eating into the foam. Like, darn it. So I got it up, and then it's the back part is definitely in certain areas the foam is eaten out, but again, it's just sitting there flat. I got the ends in secured. The bottom's going to have, you know, ballast and gravel and fallen rock and all that kind of fun stuff, so I think I'll be okay. But you ever have one of those moments when you, right as soon as you do it, you're like, uh-oh. I zigged when I should have zagged. So they're going to let this set up, then come back, and I'll probably try to get these two rocks colored, the larger ones there, touch up the smaller ones. I'm going to try to do a little bit better job this time. I'm actually going to mix per the ratios that Woodland Scenics indicates. Actually, their system usually works fairly well. It doesn't take long, and before long, then I'll get that done. Then I'll paint it green and do the initial ground foam and just keep moving ahead. So, alright, so went pretty well, other than the don't use 3M heavy-duty spray adhesive on foam. Well, at least not on this pink foam. It really liked to eat it. But I think we'll manage. We'll be okay. So, alright. More to come as we continue along here on our adventure. Alrighty. First layer of Woodland Scenic's turf. The burnt grass and the earth is down. And some other dirt just sprinkled in there just for the fun of it. I think some, I don't know, it might be Scenic Express or some other, I don't know what it was. Just stuff I have in my collection of paraphernalia. See, the rocks are done. They're a little bit different this time. I used some different colors, and I actually mixed them exactly as Woodland Scenics indicates. 16 to 1 and 32 to 1. So I had a little I actually measured them out, and I did it in milliliters. I did about 50 milliliters, and then did 3.125 milliliters. Anyway, it's close enough. Still need to do a little bit more work on these. Probably can put some other washes on the top, and of course do the dry brushing with my favorite chalk white for all the rocks that are here. But this is kind of the way it looks now. Now this is going to be a little bit different in that this area here, until it gets up here, all this up here is going to have trees on it. It's going to help hide the back, and you can peek over and say, "Aha, you can see it." Well, relax, gentle viewer. I don't yet have the trees in here, and they're going to be, trees. And if you live in the east, you know what I mean. They call it the tunnel of trees. That's the way they're going to be kind of growing here, and I'll probably put some off of here as well. So you're not going to see that, trust me, when I get this a little bit further along at some point in time. I'm not saying by the time you see this video it'll be done, because I don't have any darn trees yet, but this is going to be a little bit more. I'm going to use static grass, or I'm going to use some of the mats. I got to pull out some of the stuff that I have in my box of tricks and see what I want to do for that. Then around here, around the rocks themselves will be very similar to what was done back there. And then I want to do something, again, at least for now, I kind of had to remove some stuff. You can kind of continue this embankment along and blend it into here. So that'll be the task du jour, to see what I can come up with that. And then we'll try to get that done. Again, and get some, fallen rock and whatnot along in here. Get this track ballasted in the front there. And then, time to move on to this area. So moving from the back to the front. So, all right. Enough babbling. Let's see if we can have a little fun here and see what we come up with. Okay, here's kind of the first lower level of foliage and whatnot. What I did here, I'll kind of tell you what I used. I tried to keep everything out. I know some people wish I would do in progress stuff, and I understand that. It's just it's really hard with one person to do that. And to be honest, when I work, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just kind of wing it. So it certainly wouldn't be a well-planned video, which actually none of these are. Alright, so I started off the base layer. I was thinking of some static grass, but that's kind of a pain in the butt. So what I did was I used two of these mats. I don't know if these are going to show up. Now these are ones, unfortunately, well, that I purchased from MBR in Poland. So, and they're not even really tight. It's just a Type 5L, which is kind of a low, scruffy, autumny color grass. And then this one is a Type 12L. Now it's a little bit higher. It's got some more weeds and some, different colors to it. It just looked to me like a good base. I was going to use one of the Martin Welberg ones you can buy at Scenic Express, but since this shape is kind of unusual, these are nicer because you actually peel the backing off, and then you can rip them apart and spread them a little bit easier. So that's kind of what I did. So starting here with this one, and then this one interspersed, you'll kind of be able to notice that maybe. Just kind of went up, sprayed on some spray adhesive very carefully, and then put that down, up and through here. And then as I got a little bit higher, I kind of went with the Heki Wildgrass. Where is it? Oh, here it is. This is great stuff as well. That's even going to show up. I don't know if I can. You can see. I can't see. It's 1855. They call it Meadow Green. Of course, this is available at Scenic Express. This is good stuff. You pull it out, you tease it out. It's kind of like poor man's, or lazy man's, I should say, static grass. That's kind of interspersed then throughout. Then I came back and just started using some of my other favorite stuff. This is the Polak. I don't mean to insult, I'm sorry, but it's Polak. From Poland. Good stuff. 5976 white short flowers. And I also used a fair amount of the Heki. This is Bladerflor. This is a good color. This is 1678 Kiefergrün, which I believe is a middle green. I'm not sure. on my German. Does it say there? Pine green. And it was a good color. It just kind of helped blend things together. There's a little bit, same stuff, of the dark green. Not quite as much. Very, very sporadic. I used a little bit of the, I don't know what this one is. Anyway, it's kind of an orangey color. You'll see just just for a little tiny bit of variety in there. So then that all went on, and then I also came back with a selection of grass tufts and strips, and even some beech tree foliage for some little more scruffier. That's actually like right in there. And right up here. Again, you're not supposed to know what the stuff is, because if you can look at this and say, oh, you used this, 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 and this, then you didn't do your job right. But that's kind of the material that I used. Up here, I put down kind of a base with some of the cocoa fir liner, and then came back. Because this is all going to be wooded. You know, up here, it's all going to be trees. So you notice I got a lot of deadfall. And there's one thing I noticed, there's more deadfall than you can shake a dead stick at. If you ever go out and walk through a wooded area, a natural, unkept wooded area, it's amazing how much deadfall there is. That probably isn't enough. And I'll probably go back and add some larger ones at some point in time. And then, of course, around the rocks, I did come back and do a little bit of dry brushing and add some more of the Vallejo acrylic washes to it. And then just, again, it's so much fun. You just sit there and just layer stuff until you think it looks right. I mean, you can do this for a long, long time, but at some point you got to stop. Now, what I'm going to do now, and I kind of brought it around the corner a little bit. You can kind of see right where I stopped for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually spray this with some wet water, scenic cement, to kind of secure that down, because a lot of that just kind of sprinkled up there. And while that's going on, I might come back and work down in here and ballast the track out here to get that moving along. Then, after that sets up, obviously there's no bushes or shrubbery yet, so we get out some of the Filigranbusche and other MBR bushes and whatnot, and kind of add those in there to give it a little bit more verticalness. And then, for now, probably stop. But again, I do need to get some trees up here, because this is going to be kind of the typical eastern area tree tunnel. I know you can see the opening there, but again, unless you're a really tall dude, you're never going to lean in like this. And when most of the time you're going to be back to where I'm kind of standing, about like that. And then once I get the trees in there, and they go up, and we'll bring some over, and again, some from back here, I think it's going to cover that up nicely and look kind of like a natural, just rock cut going behind there now. Why would there be a house? But anyway, I don't know. I can't plan everything. So that's that. That is that level there. Let's kind of come in here and let you kind of see how things look. I don't know if it looks okay or not. You tell me. Again, I don't dislike woodland scenics, but there's not one little bit of clump foliage in here. It just, nature is more vertical. And I'm not saying this is perfect yet, but just to sprinkle down ground foam and clump foliage just does not capture, to me, in my opinion, the way nature really looks. It's much more vertical. All right, so let's get this sprayed, some scenic cement set in. We'll come back, maybe work down here a little bit, maybe try to get some of the lower foliage, shrubbery, saplings and whatnot, and then see how it looks and get ready to move on to the next area we got to do. Alright, a little more progress here. I decided to ballast the track there in the front, and then of course there's some loose stones and other goodies added along in there just to kind of start that. Some other dirt and debris and other stuff. Still need to add some more foam material, but we'll get to that. I decided to go with this Scenic Express dark gray ballast. I just like the way it looks. So what I figured was, these two lines coming out of the junction here, you can see that they do change over to the newer ballast. It's kind of the late steam era, so maybe before they were using the darker, you know, cinderish ballast, and then they decided to change over to the new stuff. So I don't know. That's why I have that big pile right there. It's a big pile of the new ballast. They kind of worked up to here and stopped. And of course, I didn't know where to pile it, so the track foreman said, just throw it over there against the hill. Okay, boss. So that's done. Now the next will be add some more of the intermediate foliage, bushes, and some of the Filigranbusche and whatnot. And I did decide to add, I don't think it's going to show up. I don't know why I did it, but you know, I'm looking at this here, and I figured, no, why is that there? There'd have to be a reason for it. So let me grab something to point with. So what I put in right over here, there's a drain. You can't really see it. It's a shapeways drain that's sitting there, and then there's a little pipe that comes out of the of the retaining wall. So I figured everything kind of flows down to here, through there, into this retaining area here. I don't know if it makes any sense at all, but just to give that, you know, that culvert some reason for being there. Again, I don't know what's going to show. It's really hard to see. I did add a little bit of rust below it where there might be some water runoff and whatnot. Again, I'm not even sure it's going to focus on that, but hey, it's there. So the pipe and the drain, and I'll probably add some standing water around it once things set up. This still has my Mod Podge mix of adhesive setting up. I'm going to let it sit for a day or two before I get in there and monkey around. So, okay, so that's that. And we'll work a little bit more on this, and then I really got to start making some trees. But like I said, I like the way that dark ballast looks. I don't know why. I just like it. Is it realistic? Is it prototypical? I don't know, but I like it, so I did it. So then we'll probably start work. Like I said, work up here a little bit more. I really got to get working on trees, and then start working this. You know, get it up to this level, so I can get this building in, and then the other buildings up in Fairview as well. So, okay, there we go. A little more progress here. I'll do maybe one more segment with this, because I'm not going to have trees done in time, but maybe just one more real short segment. When I get a little bit more done, then we'll see how that looks, and then we'll go ahead and get this fired up on the internet. Okay, here we go. Got some of the intermediate level foliage done. I'm going to stop now. I want to wait for the glue to set up a little bit more. In fact, I might put some more down around the bottom, then go back, maybe add some tufts along the very bottom. But really the next thing it needs is some trees. So, but for now, I think it overall is fairly good looking. At least good enough for now. Definitely needs trees, and they're going to start. You can kind of see that's where the deadfall kind of starts. So here, you know, all along here will all be whoop. Will all be trees. I did add that one dead tree in there just for fun. Then a couple other branches that fell down here and there, and some of the other items that I used just to kind of go over that. I tried something a little bit new. These are some of the things that I bought from MBR. Let me see, I'm going to have to change the f-stop so you can read this. Let's see if this even works. And I did catch a little cold when I was away, so that's nice. Alright, so this is what they call Shrubbery. And I like it. It's kind of cool. It's different colors. There's some dark green, lighter green, blooming violet, blooming white. And what this is, let me go back this way. It's kind of neat. It's kind of all together here. You can see what it looks like on the underside. And you just kind of cut it or tear it apart, mash it together, and make little bushes out of it. This is blooming white, and there's an example of it right there. There's one section of it, and there's more, but so that was kind of fun. I like that stuff. And then I used some of the. This is from Scenic Express. At least I think you can still buy it there. I actually haven't looked in a while, but this is where I got it. Martin Welberg. These are small bushes, different colors. There's a blooming white, there's an olive, and and a dark green. So some of those are interspersed throughout. I did use Polak, some low bushes, a couple of those in there. Now also from MBR, I used 3 packs of these. These are bushes, light green bush, light green with willow leaves, dark green with willow leaves. You see the numbers on those there. And the 2 larger are these Große, large bushes, which are light green. Those are really nice. They remind me, they're very similar to the Filigranbusche from Silflor. They're very similar. Oops, wrong way. And then, of course, I did use some of the Filigranbusche as well. So that's really what I did. And then, I did use a little bit of this, pardon the quick pan there. This, I believe, is from Model Scene, high bushes. And, I just kind of cut them out and stick them in here and there. They make nice little weeds. In fact, if you look here on the main line, there was a spot where I had a little bit of a hole going through, and boughs kept falling through. So I got upset and says, fine, I'm going to put a weed there. So boom, that's a weed sitting right there. How long it's going to last when I clean track and run trains and I don't know. But for now it's there. So that's it. That is the scene. That is the front of the embankment. And again, there's not much done to the backside. In fact, there's nothing done, but don't tell anybody that. And I think, again, if I kind of move back to the aisle about where you're going to stand, if you can imagine, once I get some trees up in here, I think it'll be a pretty good view block. I think it'll look pretty good. And I did leave it so you can still see the birds are there in the back, so hopefully those 2 little blackbirds still show up. So, all right, there you go. Go ahead and, I'm not calling this done, but I'm calling this, 90%, so I can move on and do other stuff. I will come back and add a few more tufts along the bottom just to kind of do that, but then I'm probably going to move on to other scenery areas, or maybe we'll start building some kits for in Fairview. So, all right, there we go. Maybe one of these times I will try to set it up and just kind of do a how we do it type of thing, not how to. Because if anyone's been with the channel for a while, I don't tell you guys how to do things. Just, I'll show you what I do, but don't listen to me. I'm just going to show you what I do. It's not how to do anything, but that's beside the point. So, maybe we'll do something like that, just to kind of show what I do. It's fun. I mean, I really don't plan anything, to be honest. Like, I don't even plan these videos. They're probably not even really all that good.
This is pretty much the worst video ever made.
But we have fun, so... Okay, let's get this up, see how things go. Hopefully my cold doesn't last too long. I feel okay to keep on working. Okay, had to stop there. I had a massive sneeze come along. Actually, 3 in a row. That was fun. Alright, so we're going to wrap this up for now. Move on to other scenery. Probably start to move, maybe get some of the water done. Get it here in the front so I can get this industry in. Get this kind of corner area finished. Then maybe move back to the other side of Fairview, and I still got a lot of work to do over in Sharon. So there's a lot to do, but okay. Enough babbling. More to come shortly.